Okay, good morning everyone. It looks like William Patterson is late, but we'll get started anyways. So let's all go around and introduce ourselves.
Hi everyone, I am Governor Morris. I just wanted to thank y'all all for making it here to Philadelphia. I greatly appreciate all of you coming. Unfortunately, the representatives from Rhode Island were not able to come, but hopefully we'll be able to proceed with the creation of the new written form of government.
Hello everyone, I'm James Madison representing Virginia.
And I'm John Rutledge, an American state citizen and judge.
I'm William Patterson, here to represent the Small States Plan.
I'm Alexander Hamilton, and if y'all didn't know who I am, I established the Annapolis Convention, which brought a bunch of delegates together to write a new form of government. So that's why we're here today at the Philadelphia Convention.
So let's get started.
Virginia presents that we should have a bicameral legislative branch weighted based off of the population of the state. We think that that's the best way to decide the best ideas of the nation, because bigger states will have bigger populations, which means that they will have to represent the majority of the people.
Well, we suggest implementing a unicameral legislature, which is completely opposite of the bicameral legislative. It would be able to create one whole house that is key to be able to enable more lawmaking and much more better decision making than two conflicting houses.
How do you suggest we decide how many representatives each state gets?
Well, sure, we can just make each state have one vote, so all the other populous states wouldn't all get all the votes. So all the other small states such as Rhode Island or New Jersey would also have a say in it, and they would be all the states would be able to get one vote each, which is a much more better form of representation for all of the states as a whole.
But how does that represent the people the best when bigger states like Virginia have majority of the population?
Well, yeah, because it's able to actually give representation to the smaller states that don't have it currently. So it would enable them to have that representation, to have that, enable those people to actually have their say and have an equal amount of vote as those in Virginia that would have.
I mean, under the Virginia plan, small states still get representation. They just don't get as many representatives.
Yeah, but
as
what this plan is able to do is have an equal ground, a fair ground, to enable those small states to have as much power as the large states, such as Virginia and such, that have populous amount of people and a lot of people in there. So it would enable them to have their say in.
Those were both excellent points, but I think that one thing to keep in mind if we did decide to go with the big state plan would be, would slaves count as part of the population? Just something to keep in mind. But anyways, let's move on to Alexander Hamilton.
Alright, well, yeah, y'all both made some really good points, and we can talk about that further a little later. But I just wanted to kind of talk about why we're really here, and that is to hopefully create a new form of government. I just wanted to point out some flaws in the Articles of Confederation. One of them being was that there is not an executive leader established, and it was all based off of just the people and the government. That is great, but there also needs to be someone in charge who is kind of a general leader for the country. And there's also a very important need for the court system, because there wasn't one established in the Articles of Confederation. And the Articles of Confederation also didn't establish control over taxing, which is definitely needed, especially coming from British rule, that there's too much taxing going on, but there still needs to be somewhat of control and boundaries on it. So
I agree with Kirsten. I just think that we are too scared of what happened with Britain, so we need to think how to modify some of the ways that they ruled, because it was successful for temporarily. Just I feel like if we completely get rid of the executive branch because we're scared that it'll become too powerful, it'll end up just crumbling and not benefit our country.
yeah, definitely.
Through this convention, we have reached a really good census on what everyone has different ideas from their different states, and I believe that this solid constitution will be able to lead our country into the future. We now have established that we have the right to levy taxes over the citizens, so although we aren't wanting to give total control over the taxes and monopolize it like we did in Britain, we now have some control through the executive branch that is now a new addition. We also have the right to regulate trade throughout the states so that it just, again, the government has more control over its citizens. We are giving hold on, let me think of the word. To satisfy the needs of both the big state and small state plan, we have come up with an option for equal representation in different houses. So for the Senate, which is the upper house, each state has 2 votes, which satisfies the small state plan because it's equal for everyone. And the House of Representatives, which is the lower house, is based on population. So that satisfies both opinions, and it works for everyone.
So as John Rutledge has said, there was a new decision made on the bicameral versus the unicameral legislature. We've also included some changes within the representation, the option of to count slaves population, the tariffs, banning slave trade or not, and then the executive elections. The Framing Fathers and I believe that we have come to a decision that will best benefit the country as a whole.
So I think we've all reached a decision. So let's head into the other room and start signing. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Awesome doing work with you guys.
Very excited.
I am very excited. This is great.
Glad to meet all of you.
Awesome. Great, guys.